Nowadays, a lot of people are saying, do video, do social media, do all that. That's fine. But don't forget about real estate, because real estate is something that can last you throughout the years. It's not going to change. It just changes regulations and laws. But the way you calculate cap rate, the way you calculate loan to value, DTI, that's going to remain the same. But now there's a lot of chatter out in real estate. No, I'm the best platform. No, I'm the best platform, so on and so forth. So what I think the best platforms are the ones that fit who you are as a person.
All right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Tech. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. Today we have a very special guest. We have a special guest, and we have a special guest co-host. Dan Gandy's not here today. We have Janae on the show. Welcome, Janae, as our co-host.
Hey, guys.
And today's very special guest is going to be Michael. Michael is someone who is with a new brokerage that's a digital brokerage that you might want to check out. And he actually is the director of broker expansion for Radius Agent Realty. Michael, welcome to the show.
What's going on, you guys? How you doing, Norman? How you doing, Janae? Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, of course, I'm doing amazing. And it's a blessing to have you on the show, man, because we've done some things in the past. And I know you're a community leader. You serve the community. You're doing a lot of amazing things. Now you're building up this brokerage. We had a great conversation. So I was like, we got to get you on the show because man. I think people should get a different light about who is Michael, where's the humble beginnings to get to where you're at today. So let's go over that. So how long you been in the business, what made you get in the business, and what areas do you serve in the real estate world?
Yeah, thank you for having me again. So yeah, I'm like the OG realtor, man. I've been in the game for 17 years. So I started when I was 25 years old. And wow. A lot of people ask me like, why did I start real estate? And I tell them diapers, literally like I had kids, man, and I had to get the food on the table. That was like the whole point of real estate. I had no clue or nothing to know about real estate. That's why I feel like everyone can get involved with this game. Yeah. So I started off as a loan officer in 2004. I used to make cold calls, 357 calls a day. Did that for a minute. A year after that, I started my own brokerage, kind of blew the hell up. It was sort of the down market. I mean, an up market, but at the same time, it was like the stated world. So basically from like 04 to 07, man, we're just killing it, doing it well. And then boom, the market crashed. So from 07 to 09, just a bunch of us just kind of figuring things out. And that's when the market went flat. It used to be a certain way. And then when 07 came, it became the way it is currently now. Yeah. So I felt that was my advantage. It was kind of like all these realtors that said, I've been in the game for 30 years. Well, it doesn't matter. The market's brand new. So from 07 to 09, I was kind of still a loan officer doing that. But then in 2010, I became an in-house lender for Better Homes and Garden. And that's when the market really shifted again on how lenders got comped. So from there, I decided not to stay in the lending game and flipped it to the real estate game. So from there, I started my own brokerage in the basement of my house, did that for about a year, finally got a co-working space, got a few agents under me. I then franchised with a company called Next Home, which was really cool. Keith Robinson and them, they're really cool people, James and Imran. And then from there, I got recruited to Compass. So I was with Compass for about 2 years, had a team of like 25 agents at Compass. And then most recently, this past October, I became an executive here at Radius Agent Realty. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey, man. I've definitely been like the loan officer, co-caller, the manager, the team leader, the franchisee, and now here an executive with the company. So wow, definitely been a relay of my career for sure.
That's amazing. And you can just see the trajectory and the consistency that you had. And before you know it, you're just kind of inching your way up. And the last conversation we had over at Radius, you were talking about what you did. Can you just shine some light? I know they reached out to you, they want to recruit you. And the story you told me, I felt like was so profound, how you flipped the script on them and said, no. Like, I actually want to help you build this thing. So
yeah, exactly.
For the viewers or listeners out there, tell them about like what you've done for this company so far.
Yeah, no, definitely it's been a great teamwork effort. But what happened is right when COVID happened, I kind of got into a state of mind where I didn't really want to keep doing managing, kept doing open houses again, because it's 17 years in the game, right? So I want to elevate. So I actually got executive coaching. So my next level was to be an executive of a company, not small business now, like really executive company or whatnot. So at that time when Radius came and they showed me their platform, I thought it was really good. And they asked me to be a manager. And I literally told them like, no, I would love for you to just be an executive and grow your company. Like that's what I want in my career. That's what I want to do now. And they said yes. And it's been a blessing because yeah, I've added the real estate portion to some things, but it's such a collaboration, this effort that we're doing here. And I think that's why it's working out great. It's because we're open-minded to me being like this real estate guy who knows how to build a team, have a company, so on and so forth. And they're just great at what they do, you know? So it's a harmony. And that's what I really like is like all of us play our part and it builds like this nice song. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. So going more into your business specifically, are you balancing still working with buyers and sellers in traditional transactions and also growing the brokerage there? How is that working for you?
You know, I think to stay relevant, you got to stay in the trenches. You know, for me, I'd rather be that kind of like executive that's still doing deals and totally give up the pipeline. You know what I mean? Like it's easier for me to have these conversations because if not, like if you think about executive in most of these companies, and don't get me wrong, these guys are bigger companies than we are. None of them are active right now. So I feel like that's my little advantage is that because I have my lending license active, I have my real estate license active. I am a real estate investor, which today I'm going to go show homes and look at an investment for myself. So those things help. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now that conversation becomes a lot easier because that's the status that I want. Instead of like being that leader that's watching the battle, I'd rather be in the trenches.
I'm imagining that there's that, what is it? I remember it's like a motivational quote. And it's a picture. The difference between like a dictator and a leader. A dictator's behind the desk pointing and the guys are pulling the ropes. The leader's in the front, like pulling right there with the team, like, let's go, let's do this, leading by example instead of just like, hey, just.
Well, you know what it is, man. I mean, like for me, like, sure, naturally that's the case when you see these things, but to a lot of these people that I recruit, we become friends. So like for me, it's like, I want to be with them as well. You know what I mean? So they're not these like random, oh, that's my agent. That's John over there. It's like, oh, that's my boy. We're going to go check out these properties today, so on and so forth. So that's the other thing about it is like, once you build these relationships, especially now, they become a lot more wholesome than it is like business transactions.
Wow. I love that. All right. So getting into your business, into transactions, what does the past 12 months of your buy side, sell side look like for your business specifically?
Yeah. So for me, the business mindset that I've always taken was to get a piece of every business, not to do my own business. Right. So I even like have my agents write deals in their name so they can kind of get the glory and get the units and get the review to show them that they're doing that. Now, the back end, the net side, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Because that's what it is. So I've always played that game, to be totally honest with you. So like if you look at my transactions, it's like 15 in the last 12 months, but you look at the team, it's kind of like 40 to 50. So, and that's with the 3 or 4 of us, you know. So for me, it gives them that ability to kind of be the front agent and I'm the back agent. And like, that's what I've always tell people is like, post your net, not your gross. You know, a lot of us say, oh, we did 20 units, $30 million, but how much you get paid off that?
Yes.
You know, and to me, it was like the E40 concept, right? Like for him, he goes gold, he's going to make just as much money as those that go platinum at a big label. So to me, that's the mindset that we've always had. It's not about the units. And that's why I like Radius, because you think of Radius for $500 a flat fee. So we can do, say, about 10 to 15 deals and make the same dollar amount as those doing 25 to 30.
Got it. Wow.
So you got to understand the net game of things. And I think a lot of us should play that game. So for me, I get kind of a dime here, a nickel here, 20 cents here, so on and so forth off these overrides. And that's my passive. And then my own deals get me like 20 to 30K based on my profit.
Wow. That's awesome. What's that saying? They say, it's better to make 50% off of 100 people's efforts instead of making 100% of your own efforts, right? Because you're gonna get burnt out at some point. Correct. If you're not diversifying your portfolio of the income that's coming in for your, you know, for your family and for your legacy or future, or whatever you want to call it, like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like that's, dude.
I think the mindset that we have is playing the real estate game, not the realtor game. There's a difference to me. You know, being a realtor is being a realtor, being real estate. So there's an advantage to understand both sides of things. So I think that's why we understand that, like, if I go to a listing appointment, if I have an investment mindset, that might be a purchase for me and now a new investment instead of just a listing for 6%. So we look at things a little bit differently, and we can offer them that. And if they don't want to list it, they don't want us to buy it, well, great, we have lending as well. So like there's three components to real estate that we bring to the table that most agents can only bring sort of like a CMA and say, hey, I can do this for you. So it's a little different. And that's why for us, it's more about the quality than trying to do as many units.
I love that. That's awesome. So your team, what makes up your team as far as transaction volume? So if we say 45 transactions last past 12 months, is it buy side, sell side, 50-50? What does that look like?
I would say we're heavy buy side, because a lot of our inbound leads, so I would say we're 70-30, which is buy side, and I think that's like for us, our good advantage. And again, because we have the investment mindset, a lot of these things turn into that. So I think with our side being buy side, because we are part of Zillow, OpCity, all these inbound leads, we focus more in that arena.
Nice. That's awesome. So what would be something that you would say separates your team based off the way you guys conduct business and approach what you do compared to maybe any other team or brokerage out there?
Yeah, I think, in specific to Radius, I think what we do is that we allow people to be more than just a realtor. So for example, I just told you, like, we only need X amount of deals to make the same dollar amount as a top producer. Yeah. That gives us more time to do other things, such as own a small business, do insurance, be a lender, so on and so forth. So now we can encompass more business opportunities for us. And that's where you build wealth. I think with real estate, even a realtor, to be a multimillionaire in real estate at a $700,000 price level, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long, long time to get to that mindset. But if you're a realtor doing 20 deals a year, say with Radius, and you have more time to go out there, you can open up a yoga place. You can do your other things and make money off it. So I think for us, that's why I say we play the real estate game, because what if you did one deal that made you 200K? Why do you have to sell real estate the rest of the year? Go open up a business. So I think with that is us leveraging that and leveraging a business mindset of things, because if you leverage real estate and then add business component to that, man, that's even more powerful, because look at these commercials. That's a real estate building that requires a business. So I think that's the mindset that, like, for us, we have is like real estate first.
Wow. I love that. That's awesome. So last question before we get to the mix-up rounds, Janae's going to go ahead and take that on. So from when you first got in the business, and this is like the whole premises, right? Real estate versus tech. So real estate started off with old school, man. You know what I'm saying? Like making phone calls, door knocking, FSBOs, talk to your sphere of influence. To 17 years later for you, like, what's been the biggest component of technology you had to adapt to that's actually you've seen success from?
Yeah, when I first started, 357 calls a day wasn't through a dialer. It was through my finger. You know what I mean? It was through like a landline. And then the leads that I called weren't coming from Zillow. They were coming from a title company that was recycled like every week. So literally we would come in to the office, get our lead sheet that day, right? Yeah. And then the next week, get another lead sheet from another person. And then like, I would tell them like, look, bro, I got like 3 deals off your leads from last week. So that was the way we did leads then, versus now, like, and that's why I'm privy to understanding real estate knowledge, because I didn't have a Z estimate. I had to find out comps. I had to understand what an interest rate was. I had to understand what a cap rate was. And I think nowadays, a lot of people are saying, do video, do social media, do all that. That's fine. But don't forget about real estate, because real estate is something that can last you throughout the years. It's not going to change. It just changes regulations and laws. But the way you calculate cap rate, the way you calculate loan to value, DTI, that's going to remain the same. But now there's a lot of chatter out in real estate. No, I'm the best platform. No, I'm the best platform, so on and so forth. So what I think the best platforms are the ones that fit who you are as a person. So I think in regards to that, there's hella good things out there. I think, you guys, what you do at Liftoff Agent is phenomenal. It's something that like, it's a foundation. It's kind of like the what do you call it? The resistant proof business that, we're always going to need what you guys provide. That's what you need.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think something like that. And a lot of people don't stick to what's just working in the beginning. It's not probably working the first 3 months. You'll see results in 6, 9, and 12 is really when things really prosper. But what happens is we get calls every day saying, no, forget that company, go to my company. So it's a little different there, where I think for me, it was a lot easier because I didn't have a lot of those phone calls to me about trying something new. All I did was just kind of like focus on real estate.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing how the industry shifted from how it was to where it is now.
Oh yeah, man.
That's awesome. So we're going to switch it up, get into the mix-up rounds, more specifically on technology you and your team's using. The intention behind this is just for agents to be like, maybe that's a good CRM or a good approach or a good tool or tech that they want to use. So we'll go ahead and switch up the camera around. And so now spotlight's on you, Janae. Go ahead and take it away.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for all of your stories, Michael. It's so cool seeing how you like grew throughout the business, starting with like where you were at and where you are now. Super inspiring and love to hear that, man. So just want to, again, go into the kind of tech questions. So you were mentioning Zillow. Is that your number one lead source currently?
It is, online leads, especially in the Bay Area. Now, when we talk about Zillow, there's a lot of different regions out there, right? And some regions may not be good with Zillow. Ours happen to be because we're in the Bay Area. So we're privy to a lot of people going to the, the internet first. So for us, Zillow works. We also use Realtor.com. We also use social media. So I think when it comes to lead gen, I probably went down every single rabbit hole, from Tiger Leads to Sierra Interactive, to every single one I pretty much did. And like Norman and I have been talking about leads for like 2-3 years already.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of those leads, but primarily for me, what worked is Zillow leads, Realtor.com, and having a filter for social media leads as well.
Nice. Okay, nice. You say that's awesome. So switching now a little bit to traditional marketing, are you guys still focusing at all on doing like any cold calls and like direct mail?
You know what? Yes. And I think it's pretty powerful because what you're doing with that. So like, think of me. So there's two aspects of me when it comes to recruiting for agents. Yeah. Direct mail is awesome because I can reach all the people that are getting their license, right? So they're waiting for that letter in there. So chances are sticking my postcard in there is going to work out as well. Now for direct mailing in regards to listings, I think that's really powerful. But when you're kind of just throwing out direct mail just to throw out direct mail, I think that's kind of like, there's no purpose behind it. I think Mark Zuckerberg said something really awesome, was like, people hate advertising, especially advertising that doesn't pertain to them. So like for me, I want to be intentful for that direct mail. So I hope it's a listing, or I hope it's something of value, not just saying like, hey, it's spring tomorrow. Like, no kidding.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Not only to mention, I mean, it saves your marketing dollars in the long run too, where you're able to put it towards the things that really matter for that,
right? Because
instead of just like dumping it.
Exactly. What you're trying to get at the end of the day is a name, an email, and a phone number. That's really what you're going to do. And by the direct mail and the direct person contact, that becomes more personal than sometimes a lead. And that's the thing about it. Think about that. We call them leads. They're people. But we call them leads. So when we do a direct mail, like we're mailing something to your house, it's a lot different than going to your email. So it's a lot different, I think, approach. It's more personal approach when you do the people to people than you kind of do like lead gen.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Now switching up a bit, again, still talking a little bit about leads. I know you were talking a little bit also about like the social media. So are you guys also generating leads through like social media, any like Facebook lead generation and like your website and SEO?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like right now, I think that's always going to be a good staple right there in regards to it. It's going to be, if you do it right, anywhere between $1 to $3 a lead, and sometimes a lot less than that, depending how your algorithms are set up and your shadow audience and so on and so forth. But when you're paying, think about that. Like, say a decent lead costs you 7 to 10, Zillow leads cost you 60 to 100. So your marketing dollars from there, especially like some agents are like, well, these aren't good people. They're bad leads or whatever the case may be. They're only $1, but that's a database. You know what I mean? That's what they don't understand is like you're creating a database. And then from that database, if you do it right, you can create a shadow audience, which then so on and so forth. So if you spent $500, say, for example, and you get it $1 a lead, that's 500 leads. It's a lot of leads, but you get one deal that's going to net you $6,000. So that's a $5,500 ROI, and you still have 500 names and emails and contacts. And you can use Liftoff Agent.
I love that. Wow. Shout out.
Exactly. No, love that. But really great how you're talking about that database. Now let's kind of transition. So what CRM are you guys currently using?
So I'm an OG, so I'm gonna stick with Follow Up Boss. It just works for me. It's just what it is. It's just something that, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it again. But if it delays your business, you may not want to switch it as well. So for me, Follow Up Boss works well. My team
Shout out
to Dan. My team uses KV Core. The reason being is they're a little bit more, I think KV Core is like the Lamborghini of CRMs, to be honest with you. I don't need all that, to be honest with you, in my business. You know, Follow Up Boss to me is like fire. I love Follow Up Boss. But, you know, KV Core is a company we partner with as a brokerage with Radius. So all of our agents use KV Core, which then has tons of like AI stuff, lead gen stuff, so on and so forth. And then we have a sprinkle of Lion Desk.
Okay.
That's awesome. Dan Clarker was on the show. He was, for our viewers and listeners, watch that episode, Follow Up Boss, CEO. Dan was on the show.
Well, I got to talk to Dan because I like his system.
You say that is great. What time organization tool do you use to stay on top of like everything you're doing?
Time organization is my Google Calendar. So I categorize 4 different colors with my Google Calendar just to make sure I'm maintaining stuff. So one is blue. Blue is pretty much stagnant stuff, waking up, going to bed, watching TV, so on. Yeah, I even like schedule TV watch. It's crazy. I love that. Orange is health or self-care. So if it's a massage, if working out, reading a book or something like that, it's orange. Sage is sort of like things like this that we're talking about right now, things that in time will get us an audience, build us growth, so on and so forth. And then dark green is things that are instant money. So I use those tools. And then for me, I evaluate my week and say, okay, shit, man, I did too much massage this week, man. I got to relax. I got to work, or vice versa. You know, I think that's what it is. So Google Calendar is something that's huge for me. Calendly is huge for me, because it allows people like us. I don't think we even like talk on an appointment. We just click each other's links, reschedule. So Calendly is like super huge for me as far as like time blocking and my calendar.
Wow.
Love it. Those are all tools that, of course, we live by a Liftoff agent. And I mean, I've been loving that Google Calendar, having that notification come up on like the laptop, my phone. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to do it. Just have a couple more questions for you. So what data company do you use?
Data company in regards to, we use Property Radar. I think that's a really good system right there. I think it's like $90 a month and 8 cents a lead. So something like that is good. Also, Chicago Title has a good database system. Forgot the name of it, but shout out to Alicia here in the Bay Area. She plugs a lot. And then also First American has some sort of data thing as well. So those are 3 arenas that we kind of play with. And then we used to use a company called Smart Zip. I don't know if you heard of them. I know Norman's probably heard of them. They're based in Pleasanton. So you really like them a lot too, as far as like gathering data or whatnot.
Sweet. That is awesome. And then just my last question before I switch it off to Norman. What is the newest tech that you're testing out right now?
Well, the newest tech, I think everyone's testing out is Clubhouse, right? It's this Clubhouse thing. Like, what's going on with Clubhouse? It was on fire and then it's a little different for me, to be honest with you. I can't be on the phone that long. I think that's the reason why. And most of the time when it's 8 o'clock at night, I don't want to hear about real estate. So, you know, I wish sometimes if I was a realtor, I'd be out in the field, listen to it more. But I think Clubhouse is one. And then also to one of the hot platforms that we're using, shout out to Mark Choi, is High Note. High Note is really powerful in regards to presentations and things like that. It's been around, but right now it's being circulated because there's a waiting list for High Note. So in regards to that, I think Clubhouse and High Note are the 2 like sort of software techs that we're playing with as well. And as far as Radius, we're adding a Radius agent, which we're a social media platform as well. We're trying to add the audio component to our social media platform as well.
Wow.
Really cool. All awesome stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much, Janae, for taking on the mix-up round. And it's funny, we actually, so we're about in the future now, 8 to 10 weeks. But last week's episode, for our viewers and listeners, we had Mark from High Note on the episode.
Nice.
And if you're here, we might have a secret deal to get you on the top of the waiting list. Anyways, nice. So let's go ahead and finish off the show. I got 3 more questions for you, Michael, to end the show. As far as your team, do you guys do any positioning as far as like any expert in any area of real estate, like say, you know, specific city, you know, sub-city, town? Do you guys do anything with that?
Yeah, so the team that we kind of, because now I'm in an executive position, we form more of a collaboration than a team, where each of us are still representing our own brand, but we come together. And we come together because like one maintains like a wholesale mindset. So he's going after listings, he's going after wholesale deals, things of that magnitude. We have one that focuses on commercial. So commercial, things of that magnitude as well. And then one that focuses on probate. at the same time while they're focusing on the Zillow leads, the social media leads, so on and so forth. So we kind of do a divide and conquered mindset. I think the one thing for us is that we leverage each other as well. So if we have to bring someone in on a deal and be like, hey, I just can't handle this client, let's just split it 50-50. That's a lot of the things that we do with this team. We don't really take that, this is my client mindset. And the first approach when we talk to a client is like, look, I partner up with agents. We're a team here. The market's hot. I might have someone else, but Joe can see you instead. So I think that's what we're doing more, just becoming more of like, call like the Avengers, right? Like we all have our own thing going on, but like when there's a problem, we'll come together. That's the Avenger business model. So don't steal that, anyone.
I know. I love that. That's awesome. But I love how you're focused on those various different quadrants. So are you sending out like buyer farm, seller farm? Are you selling any mailers out specifically to an area with your team and utilizing that strategy as well?
Yeah, so everyone knows marketing works in like 3-week increments, right? So it goes with a city once, next city the next week, next city the following week, and then recycles it again. We don't try to spread too much thin as well because, I think accessibility is super important right now in real estate. Being able to say, hey, I could be there in an hour, because the bigger shops are making these appointments. Like if you think about Zillow's showing time, you think about the Redfin showing app or things of that magnitude, they can book someone like that. There's an Instacart to that. So for us to sit there and say, we can't show to tomorrow, chances are the algorithm's going to show an agent that can show today. So it's more powerful to be within an hour to a 30-minute radius so you can go out to the market. So we don't spread ourselves thin and just be more like focused on 5 cities, hyper like focus, because within every city, especially in the Bay, as you know, Norman, like there's sub-markets in there. There's Oakland, there's like 15 markets in Oakland. So that's the better approach for us than kind of like just hitting up everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that for sure. And yeah, it's like early bird gets the worm. So if you're too far, how are you gonna get out there? So that's awesome for our viewers and listeners. Be more focused. So last question I have for you is if, say, for instance, I wanted to hire you, what's your secret weapon that your team uses that's just like would give me the confidence to like list my home with you guys?
Well, I think the three layers of what we can do with the homeowners, that we provide solutions, not CMAs. There's a difference there, right? Like if an agent is going to walk out the door showing them like how they can remodel their house and do all that, that's great. And I think that's probably something that they need to hear, but there's also other options too. We're so quick to getting people out their houses. We're not quick to tell them what they can do to stay in their house. And some people just have to move, and that's totally fine. But instead of being an opportunist, show solutions. But you would only know that if you know real estate. So I think we go back to the old school and read the Gary Keller books of Real Estate Millionaire. Keep those things on your mind. Read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, things of those natures. Those strategies are in front of our faces and we don't realize it. So for us, like we had a listing appointment yesterday. We've had 4 different investment strategies just in case. Just in case that didn't work out, you know what I mean? Because everyone's like, oh, the market's hot and things like that. That's fine. But for a homeowner, that's kind of scary. You know what I mean? Oh, like I got to look at 90 offers. I got to have 200 people show up to my house. I got to fill out these disclosures. Like it's not that cool sometimes, Yeah. So that's what I mean. So if you think of the people side of things, like, well, what is that you're trying to accomplish? Like, I think I had to sell because I have debt. Like, no, we can cash out. We just give you some money. Like, did you know if you sell your house, you may not have to pay higher property taxes too? So there's a lot of different strategies that I think we use when it comes to real estate versus like, again, your average realtor.
Wow. I love that. Like you do some fact finding, ask questions, then from understanding the drivers of why they're looking to sell their home, then it's just like, well, here's some options that you have that maybe you didn't have before, which gives me confidence to hire you because you're the expert. You're telling me specifically what I need to hear that I didn't even know that I needed to hear. That's like, okay, I got some cash available. Maybe I just, have equity, cash out, pay off these credit cards. I screwed up, bought too many J's.
It's so much strategy behind it. And I shout out to my cousin who showed me that strategy in 24-hour fitness. He's like, look, show him the month to month, show him the yearly, and then show him the one with training and say which one works best. And that's what we're doing. Okay. Like, do you want us to sell your house traditionally? We can do that. You want to sell it as an investment? We can do that. You want to stay? We can do that. Which one do you like?
I love that.
So that's our approach, man. That's our little secret weapon.
Good tips for the viewers and listeners out there. And now we're at the part of the show where the floor is yours. So, what are you working on? What's going on? If they want to check out the brokerage that you guys have going on there. What is Radius Agent doing? Like, go ahead, floor is yours, and take it away.
Yeah, just a brief thing on just three things. Again, we are Radius Agent Realty. We're a flat fee brokerage. We only cost $500 per file, and we use a plug and play model here at our brokerage, where literally you come in, you are the brand, you are the person, and you are powered by Radius. So we're not taking sort of like approach where you're an agent with our company. You're definitely taking an approach where you can build a small business. So I'd love to talk to people in regards to that. Also, I'm president of NAREP. So we are a Bay Area chapter here that are promoting Hispanic real estate professionals. We just did a big event called Radius Summit with Radius Agent as well. We tackled topics like diversity in real estate, color in real estate, leadership as well, how to sell 100 homes, so on and so forth. We're partnering with SIDE as NAREP chapter as well to build a wealth summit that's going to come up here in July as well. So we're doing a lot of things with NAREP and in that community. And then just like you guys have a podcast, it's called What's Up Real Estate. It's all about real estate topics that affect the people of color and the underserved. So we kind of stay away from any top producing topics or things like that. We talk about more like tomorrow's topic is going to be about the millennial agent and the millennial lender and the OG lender. So a lender that's been around for like 20 years and one that's been around for 5 years. We had one about murals. So we talked to a muralist here in the Mission District. So we do things that are real estate topics that are kind of more like kind of funky or whatnot. So that's what we do too. So again, Radius Agent, NAREP, and Radius, and What's Up Real Estate are sort of my three platforms.
Wow. Links below, all links below.
Links below, people.
Definitely. That's awesome. I know we're kind of talking a little bit, just very infant stages about liftoff and synergies and what we could do to serve this industry. Because I think it's very, very underserved and utilized. And there's a lot of agents out there that need support, need help. And that's our intention here, man. Thanks so much for being on the show, Michael. We really appreciate it.
For sure, you guys. Well, peace, love, and real estate to everyone, man. We'll talk soon.
I love that. Thank you so much, Janae, for being our guest co-host today.
Of course. It was awesome. So much fun. And it was great getting to talk with you, Michael.
You too, Janae. We'll talk soon for sure.
Awesome. And thank you to all our viewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take something from our episodes, have more massive success, and we will see you on the next one.
And made it to the end. Well, thank you so much for watching Real Estate vs. Technology. We hope you found value, especially something you can apply to your real estate business. If you could do us a favor, we would appreciate it. A thumbs up. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll be notified for new episodes coming out. And comment below, what the heck did you learn? If you want to join our Facebook group page, there's a link right here. And if you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, send us a DM on our Instagram page. We'll see if we get you on the show. So, take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.